Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your man, Greg Merriweather, the angry black man with Brilliance. And I'm coming on today because I think I've learned a lesson. Um, so far, I know a lot of us don't watch the Emmys. But the Emmys were on, and it was interesting because the Emmys started out with, it was almost like a tribute to Biz Markie with the whole Just a Friend thing. And Cedric the Entertainer came out rapping, and then you had LL Cool J, the legendary LL Cool J, come out as a supporting rapper on the song, and everybody's singing in unison and having a great time over this classic hip hop track. So then the Emmys go on, and you find out that none of the major awards, black people were shut out. I believe they had the most nominees ever and were totally shut out of the Emmys. So no blacks won in any major categories. And I think that there's a lesson in it. The thing about it is this: when I see that we're shut out, I'm no longer disturbed by it. I don't get disturbed by that. I'm just like, we went through that with the Grammys. We went through that with the Oscars. I'm sure we went through it with the Tonys. And when I think about it, I think that we have to realize what integration did that worked against segregation. And when you have your own, it's a whole different thing. And so why am I not upset? I'm not upset because they didn't create that for us. They didn't create it for us. And when it's not created for you, how do you walk in a man's house who has a whole different culture and expects him to cook your style of food? How do you expect them to cater to you when it was never designed for you? And it made me think more broadly about just the things that we're attempting to do as black people. If we have a black business, we want the Caucasian paper to acknowledge us. We want the Caucasian news, to acknowledge us. We want to be acknowledged. We want our blackness to be acknowledged through a system or platforms that were never designed for us. And I said, I look at this and I think about even from a governmental perspective. I said this to my guy, Danielle Howard. I said, it's amazing how black folk are Republican or Democrat. But when you learn about the rules of this country, and when you learn about the constitutional rules of this country, and all the things that we've dealt with as black people, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice supposedly for all, you realize that all them cats was in the room and made rules that were based on who they were, white folk. And I'm not dissing, I'm just telling the truth. And I think that we have to now get on board or back on track with building our own. And when we build our own, the expectation changes. So I just think it's necessary for us to understand that in order for us to get just due, we have to do what's necessary for us. And stop worrying about everybody else. And stop whining and crying and complaining when you're not acknowledged in a place for a group of people or a culture where you were never meant to be represented. Just my take. It's amazing how every other race does something to acknowledge themselves on a high platform. Because that's what self-esteem is about, isn't it? And shouldn't we have self-esteem as a people? Because it's derived from each individual having self-esteem, but as a unit, it feeds the individual self-esteem. Black people are still trying to be part of something other than being black people. And I think once we create stuff, self-actualization is the universal us. We have to have self-actualization of black people. Then individual black people will have self-actualization. Just my belief. So I think if we really think about this, man, the Emmy showed us something grand last night. May not want to acknowledge it, but the fact remains, you cannot complain about getting acknowledged by someone or some organization where you were never part of the plans. It was never designed for you. Just my thought. Start creating again. This has been your man, Greg Merriweather, the Angry Black Man with Brilliance. Y'all have a great one. Peace.